Hey there, peeps. How you doing? This is TFC Open Mic, Season 2, Episode 42. And I titled this one, A Little Bit of VXP and a Lot of FM, or something along those lines. We've got a full panel already. Wow. So we only put it up like 2 minutes ago, and it's chock-a-block. I wonder why. There's a little bit to talk about. First of all, let's have a look who's on the panel. Brian, how you doing, mate?
I just had 100 I prepped to blow up in the 30 seconds I tried to go find it. So, whoops.
Oops. Okay. Hey, George.
Evening, everybody.
Hey, Imri's in. How you doing, mate?
Hi, guys.
I bet you're having fun this weekend, stealing people's targets. Oh, dear. Hefe, how you doing?
Oh, doing just dandy.
Good. Jeff's in. How you doing, mate?
Yeah, well, pretty good.
Excellent. Peter, how are you?
Not too bad.
Magical Rue's in. Hey, Rue. She's in.
I'm doing well.
Good, excellent. Monsieur Rum, how are you?
Doing quite well, thank you, TSM.
Zupa and Tripod.
Doing dingy wingy.
Doing dingy wingy. And of course myself, TSM, if you hadn't clocked that one already. Right, okay, welcome all those in chat. We've got a plethora of people in there. A lot of our favourites are in there as per normal. The only person that's not in this week is Snoopy, because he's away this weekend. But he did say, have a rant on me. So somebody will
I
sure will do
know,
that.
I had a special Snoopy all set up for him too.
Did you? Oh, well, it's one of them things, isn't it?
I'll cover his rant.
I'm sure you will. Okay, so I think the first thing we can talk about really is the VXP. Let's cover the VXP piece first, as it was in obviously the first piece of the title screen. So, who had anything other than subs or hunters to rank?
Well, I did, but I used my subs to be able to rank them. So does that count?
Yeah, so that was the point I was going to say. There are other
yeah.
ways of ranking it. I know there's submarine targets, or the skirmisher targets, but they've been quite reasonable in the way they've delivered this, I think.
Well, the huge bonus has been the defender ranking tokens.
Yeah, I think that's. There's a perfect solution to the courage problem, although it's like 2 weeks too late, but it's a perfect solution, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh,
And
like
it's
a
not
month and a half
hull
too late.
specific, it's class specific. So, snag them and save them.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm hoping
I've got-
I've just gone and hit 10 extra myself, and I've bagged 10 spare. So
Yep, I've got 10 to spare.
yeah. So anybody that hasn't done that, and you can obviously go and bag these hundreds, I would suggest you do so, because there's bound to be another defender coming out soon. Because most of the ones we've got don't seem to do a lot against some of these newer hulls that are out there. So, well, they do all right, but they just seem to melt under mortars. So, but anyway, yeah.
Yeah,
maybe
if you're, and just a hint, if you're in an alliance or if you've got mates in the game and you are ranking something that is not subs, and you do happen to know somebody that does have subs, you can work in tandem with them to go ahead and strip the subs out for you if they're friendly
I was
enough.
about to say that. Yep.
Absolutely.
that's all my alliance have been doing all day, really, to be honest, is been going around helping each other, ripping out all the submarines, and then or if you've got a really, really rubbish fleet to go and do, is rip out all the submarines, less one of the gluts, and then just leaving them with one alone, sending a gunboat north so it triggers, and then rushing in with the other thing. Well, rushing as fast as you can. So at least you get the token at the end, sort of stuff,
Yeah, I guess people are not paying attention or are not realizing. I have found multiples of the targets with like 2 subs left in it, like a glut and something else. So I've been able to snag a bunch of tokens.
I don't know how you are, because I have, like, in my sector and the sectors around it, there's people like just snagging, like going in and stealing targets and everything. Because I do want to say one thing though, like if you have the subs or if you're going to work with someone in your alliance, right? A nice little trick to use is to throw on, like, have them clean everything out but one glut, right? And then you go in with a fearless blitzer. If you have something that can't get to the gluts, because otherwise you're going to waste your salty, right? Go in there and use the fearless blitzer, get right up next to the glut, because you can be able to outrun everything, and then kill it quarter of the way or something, and then go somewhere in timeout. I mean, there's many ways to actually do this, take advantage of just having one glut in there. So if you can get, an alliance member to help you, or if you have the subs to do it, prep out those targets and take advantage of it.
Yeah, I was going to say. So in there, if you are just left with the five gluts, isn't it? Yes, it's 5. I think it is. Then clearly clear one at a time, exit, and then kill the other one. So long as Imri's not in your sector, you'll probably be able to get away with that sort of stuff. So that's what I've been doing, and all my alliance have been doing, obviously, because you get maximum VXP that way. So, and it's been considerable as well, I think, isn't it? Someone said 20k per glut or something like that. With triple
Not
salt.
too bad.
Jeff, yeah, I think Jeff tested that.
Yeah, I think it's like 20, something like that. So, yeah, I'm giving Imri a bad rap here, but I can only go on previous experience.
Poor Emery.
There was a guy on the said he killed 103 of those.
103,
Good grief.
but he's
I
got a
got
sore
40
ass.
down. I found a path where it was down to like 4 minutes.
Yeah, I'm content now. My builds for these version, I'm content. So, yeah, yeah, things are good. I think, to be honest, and still my flag sub still doesn't have only but one torpedo on it. There's just one. I haven't done the rest of them, so I've gone on to building my hunters now, which are now ranked, which is good. So yeah, I did the same thing with those. I just cleared out the subs again, and even just the really rubbishy hunters only had 1 depth charge on each, and I let them just kill off because they were quite quick. I made sure the engines were quick enough so they could do as much as they could with the muds, which was slow, but they're done. So hey, I think tripods have a problem with microphone here. So yeah, sorry, VXP. Content with it or not content?
I like it so far.
Tripod, do you have mic issues?
Sorry?
I thought you
There
had
you
mic issues there, mate. You keep dropping.
No, I'm just trying to change my picture.
In. Oh, right. You keep playing, buddy. That's fine.
Overall, I think it's actually been pretty good if you have something that you can actually take advantage of it with. And that's one of those things that keeps happening again and again in the game. If you don't have it and you don't have someone to help you, you might be up a creek without a paddle.
Well, and also don't forget, in addition to the 60 and the 100, there's also the unidentified raider fleets that are around the dub bases. I mean, they don't pay out the huge amount that the hundreds do, but if you're ranking something that just cannot get to the gluts or anything like that, don't forget those.
Yeah, I mean, for ranking the massive numbers, yeah, that's the thing, isn't it? I mean, I think we're inherently lazy as players sometimes, and I don't blame us because some of the numbers are massive, I have to say, but we used to go to just like hitting the res on the water, and then we've gone to the obviously the ones around the the portals and that sort of stuff, and now we're going to I want one of these hundreds and get myself 20 or 30k. So the ones that are hanging around, the jump zones, people aren't really touching them too much, to be honest. They're just ignoring them, I think. So, well, they certainly seem to be around my area. So. I don't know, but yeah, I think greed is a pirate game. I think greed's the ultimate goal in all this thing, to be honest. But,
so in ranking, what are you guys thinking about the hunters? Are they incredibly strong as a 5-pack with the flag?
I'm content. I think the balance is quite nice. You get a little bit of pain if you make a mistake, but if you don't make a mistake, you're doing well with the skill. Well, I think the hunter is having issues. If you haven't got it all pumped up, but it's not really a hunter target, is it?
No. I mean, obviously stripping out the subs and going with the hunters, but man, they seem to be tanking a lot of damage, and I mean, not taking much is what I'm trying to say.
Depends of the path you're doing. If you go in zigzag mode, you can avoid all the mortars.
Yeah, I'm not taking much damage at all.
So you can get a 100,000 VXP and retreat, and
Yeah, keep cutting in and out. It's a good plan always. So have we all sort of given in and gone and built 2 fleets, by the way?
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah. I mean, I think that's a given at this point.
We had to. We're forced to, aren't we?
Yeah. Not only being forced down to I'm not going to turn bitter already, but not only being forced down to the twin raid format of each month, one called bounty, one called raiding. Now we've down the twin fleet format as well. So hey, Kix, aren't you clever? You've just given us ×4, in 3 months. Pretty switched on, really, to be honest. And we're still sat here doing it. and complaining, but we were still going to do it because, yeah.
I mean,
Anyway,
We're
In
we're not there
theory-
yet, but it's a triple threat. With the
well,
FM
yeah,
coming
we'll,
up.
we'll come to the next one in a minute. But
but in theory, you also need a Conqueror fleet for your second raid, the Bounty. You might even need a Defender fleet if you are a masochist or have a lot of money to spend on Defender fleet repairs.
I'm just wondering what they're going to do with it. What are they going to do with the dock? Because I mean, that's 120 plus ships in just in 12 months. So I'm not sure what they're going to do. They're going to have to do something.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about that a little bit
highest.
last week, and it's getting awful crowded in there. Like now it's getting down to the rub. But what do you want to get rid of?
Well, Mark's already said that he's gotten rid of his tier 5 hulls.
All of them. Couldn't keep them. Cannoneers, I think, is all I got left, to be honest. But not of the PvP stuff's all gone.
Wow.
I've got nothing that's
And you know what?
Even
I'm
the
sorry to
flagships are
say-
gone.
I'm sorry to say there's a lot of coined fleets in there.
Mm.
That are gone.
Yeah, there is.
So
But
that's money you can't get anything back for in the game.
I know flagships and all, but I just couldn't. I couldn't have the space. I didn't have any space. So, but that's the way it is.
Venom was just saying that if you only have a single sub, you are still able to go ahead and kill that 100 for the token as well. Takes a little bit of time, but apparently it can be done with 1 and probably 2 or 3 as well. So even if you're short on ships, don't just think that you can only hit a couple of subs and then leave it be. Give it a go and see if you can get that token.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, I mean, I must admit, I saw somebody. I can't remember whom it was now, which is a shame. But I did send the link to Andrew to hopefully put it on the raid help page. But I did actually see somebody do the hunter one with no extra crews or anything at all. He only used the flagship and 2 other subs as well, so 3 subs, and he was golden. He had a perfect path for it, mind. So that was obviously the last raid format, but it was doable. So he was getting the full hit. And doing a really good job of it as well.
What you're talking about, the last raid?
Yeah.
Or this VXP?
No, the last raid format with the hunter.
Okay.
But 3 subs, he was doing that okay. I don't know what escalation is going to come next time, but if they're going to escalate anything, I don't think they should be escalating the hunter one because a lot of people have just started going that avenue to try and sort that fleet out, whereas most people's subs are in good order.
I might do the same thing. 3 FTs last time.
Did you?
And after we had the talk after the show, Rue gave me points. After Sunday off, Monday just took my fleet in and killed the bloody what's they called, the other ones, the hunters, and got about 450Ks in total.
That's pretty decent, isn't it?
Yeah, so I stopped. I got the only thing was going for the last tokens, or what do you call for the arcades?
Oh, the shards, yeah.
Yeah, the shards for the cage. That was it, and I stopped.
Yeah, we could do that. I mean, for some people that did go hunter first, we could definitely do with that TLC coming back, couldn't we? In the next couple of weeks, without a doubt. Probably next week, actually, would be handy. Give people a bit of time to sort themselves out.
Especially if we didn't do it the first time. And for the rest of us did, we need tokens because, they still take a long time to build.
Oh, gosh, yeah.
Yeah, there were a lot that were able to get the hull itself with Apollos the first time that came through, but not necessarily the special, and they may not have been able to get it in the raid. So I hope they do bring that back so that people can go ahead and fill that in.
Yeah. Just a quick thing before we move on to obviously the main topic this evening that I want to talk about, but we'll pick up some other things first. It's just interesting. How many people have got 1 or more? Let's say 1 to 5. How many people got 1 to 5 level 9 turrets done?
No.
I got none.
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 I have 1.
I got 1.
Yeah. Okay. And the guys in chat, anybody got more than 5? That are real players, that is, if you know what I mean. I've done 1. That's it.
Look, Wayne's got 3. Somebody report him.
Yeah, somebody caught that.
It's a trap.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. I mean, yeah, I've managed to get a couple of the new turret tops on because you don't have to have all your turrets up to speed. But if you want to power them up, then obviously, and even like an emancipator, to try and stop these twin blades, that still needs a level 9 turret to make it worthwhile. So.
I just finished my conquest today.
Wow! Did you?
Yeah, and I have started the research on the ad lab, and then I will get busy after turrets.
Is that then for the new gate?
Yes, I'm doing the upgrade right now, so I still have to do the research.
Did you manage to do your shipyard and your dock?
Yes, I did. I used all my tokens to do those things. I have one warehouse left to go.
Oh, I see.
I use the tokens to do everything else, and let the conqueror or conquest build slow until we get the 20 days in the raid, and then I use that on the conquest. That left me until today.
Okay, so I'm leading somewhere with this. That's all. But in fact, George, we'll step back one quickly. George, you got one more thing for VXP. Sorry.
Yeah, I was talking with BP Professor Larry on the crib on Wednesday, I think, and he had made an observation because we were trying to figure out those goblins, how they were dying so fast in certain aspects, and he said he had noticed that when they got into that fang tooth field, that they were dying real quick, and so I was testing it this weekend, and both
Dreadfield,
they'll take the Dreadfield, they'll take more damage when they're in their crazy mode, but if they get into actually any of the subs, if they get into the dread field, they will take an enormous amount of damage.
Yeah, I've noticed
that. Which tells me a lot of the stuff that's going on in those targets is resistance based.
There seems to be a really good sweet spot where they can literally just get inside the dread area, but
not shoot you.
Shoot you. It's really fine, and I've noticed it today, particularly while I was kiting, and rather than having coming on at you at sort of like at 90 degrees, it's probably try to get them to come in you sort of like at a 30-degree angle sort of stuff, and then you can parallel them, and that gives you lots more free sort of space, if you know what I mean, because it's not just a vicious angle that they're coming at you sort of thing.
Yeah, the oblique angle actually works a lot, but it was a really interesting thing because I hadn't caught it, and he said that, and I was like, oh crap! And I tested it today, and actually last night too. And so the goblin will take more damage when it's in overload, but it will take. I mean, like I can almost one-shot it if it just touches the dread field, and going at angles off of the regular path of what the goblin is going actually does really help. I don't know that I would rely on it. I mean, honestly, most of the time I have enough room, so it doesn't matter. But I was testing today, and that actually does work. So if they do end up in your dread field, then yeah, absolutely, it's going to help you mitigate some damage, or at least get them dead fast enough so they don't do too much damage to you. I don't know that I would want to rely on it because it's a very, very, very fine line.
You guys, can you see my screen?
No, not at the moment, mate.
Nope. No.
Nope.
I was trying to share. Hang on.
Give it a go.
Button. Yeah, green button on the left, and then hit.
Yeah.
Should be able to.
There you go.
Here we go. We've got something now. While you're sharing the hangout.
Can you see this?
Yep.
With the subs and the
yes.
Cuts? You see this, okay?
Yeah.
There's the blind spot for the 3 clots in the 100s VXP.
Yeah, they have a minimum range.
Yeah, the minimum range is
90.
Just showing people you can go in there and you just sit there and.
It's a nice place to put it. Yeah, no, it's a fair point actually. That's a good place to have it.
You just go in and or just go in and have fun.
Yeah, well, the catch is you don't want to kill all 3 of them at the same time. I mean, you want to, because usually if you're just trying to get rank on,
sometimes you just go below here. You can hide your surface ship.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Avoid the whole thing and time out.
Yeah, I try and leave the 2 end ones because I was doing my the gut spill skyfire, so I'd go and hit the bottom one, and it would time out because it was only like 3 or 4 UAVs on it, and I just keep on going in, and I got it up. I got it up pretty good with just 2 gluts and a target.
Yeah, like I said, I was just using my my normal hunters, and then just each time I was picking off one at a time basically, and we're going further north, just picking it off with a gunboat, so at least trigger the down glut and then rush in with a hunter, so it got it. But the hunters have got engines on. They only got 2 weapons on each and nothing else. So, but it worked.
Just one on here and blah blah blah. But you can still hide. You can still avoid the gluts after taking out the subs and go down south. When you start, go south, and you could just avoid the whole thing.
Okay, right. You just disappointed me massively now because you're using an Apple. There we go. Right. Okay.
Yeah, something like that. Something like that.
Yeah, just a note on the conquest yard. If you have nothing going in your regular shipyard and you go to refit, and you go to refit a Conqueror hull, right now the default for a refit, if both shipyards are not doing anything, is the regular shipyard. So if you need to refit a Conqueror and you want to force it to go into that Conqueror yard, start any hull with a thud on it. Go ahead and go back to your Conqueror hull, hit refit so it forces it into the Conqueror yard, and then go back and cancel the regular hull in the regular shipyard.
Yeah, that's caught me before. That sucks.
Yeah, that was mentioned. I don't know who was it mentioned it. Somebody mentioned it. Can't remember it was me, but yeah, Miranda mentioned it. Yeah, exactly. So I hope everybody made sense to everybody. But basically, the default shipyard is obviously the normal shipyard, and they're going to fix that. So that's
hopefully.
Well, that is down their jobs to do, and it needs to be done pretty sort of quick. Otherwise, the whole point of having the conquest is, especially if you end up doing on quickly and then adding a day's build tokens to it, and all of a sudden you don't want to cancel it, and then you've buggered because you can't go and do a PvE ship, you'd be pretty pissed. So so bear that in mind. I forgot to mention that actually, but yeah, thanks for picking that up. That's good. So yeah, let's just zoom forward a little bit more, and let's just check. So just a quick checksum. Has everybody here maximized their shipyard by now?
Yep. Not yet. I've been working on turrets.
Okay, we've gone the other route then, Peter. Yeah. It's fine, but obviously I just like the fact that obviously the weight reduction on concussive is concussive type items and that sort of stuff, and skirmish type stuff as well. What about their docks? Did anybody maximize the dock yet?
Got it. Yeah,
I got both. 2 things I did. Done.
So both areas done. Okay. And what about the portals? Both two portals done?
Yes.
I got the new one on.
So most people get at least only one is at level 2.
Okay, yeah, because that's the other thing.
I have one building
them. Yeah, building them and then upgrading them as well, which takes forever.
Yep. Yeah, although you can use base pots for the traps.
You can, yeah. No, that's a good point actually.
That was a plus.
And what about then warehouses? Who's got them? Is everybody upgraded their warehouses?
Yeah. 4 out of 5.
4 out of 5.
2 out of 5.
2 out of 5.
Got everything. I only need the turrets. That's it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm on to I've not done the second trap yet, so I haven't done the advanced yard because I'm still building the conquest yard. I've got 9.5 days on that yet. In fact, I just see Nobby's logged on as well. He's about the same sort of time as me, 9 or so days, and that's generally the same across my whole alliance, to be honest. So, I'm just trying to think, without coining excessive amounts in base, and not many people do, unless you're in a really high alliance. That gives you a picture. I'm just trying to paint a picture when you go into a base and you view things in bases. You should be able to visualize now where a good quality base should be for a reasonable high level player that coins enough stuff to say, yeah, that's justified. Because we've seen some things and some pictures have been passed around with people with like ridiculous things in their base that they're either mammoth coiners, but I doubt they are by the base of their levels. But they've definitely seen some odd bases popping up on pictures in different sites, I think, to be honest. So just something to bear in mind. So that's basically a par where everybody is. Which brings us on to position then when we talk about tokens, doesn't it? So we know we've got so it's probably a I'm talking about you, Ben, and me, yeah. So token situation. So the first thing I noticed in this week's FM was the first time actually I've got 2 1-day tokens in the last level. So a 1 day and a 2 day as opposed to a 2 day and a 3 day. Has anybody had?
Yeah, I got 2 1 days too. Then
I
get
got
3 days.
one 3 day.
That's for me.
One 3 and 1 day. 1 day.
Okay.
1 3 1 1.
Yeah.
I got my second 3-day in like 2 years.
Yeah, but you got no friends, so it doesn't count.
Hey, Ruth, I can make a fake account. I could get you a friend.
It's fine.
She doesn't need friends. She's all right. She's got beer. Well, in fact, it's G&T normally.
Martinis.
Martinis.
Martinis, yes.
So for the first time, I was just interested to see if they've actually started to do the cull, and that was it. Whether numbers have started to come down, because they did say it was going to. And I know it was this is the last week of that current FM format. And if you don't know that by now, then clearly you're not reading anything in the game. But I'm wondering if the cull had already started. That's what I was interested in, to see if they'd actually made a start on the reduction of the allowable limits on shipbuild tokens, based on the fact that Huggy's yard will be coming on soon for many, but it certainly isn't online yet for most. Was that a general agreement in that?
Oh,
It's
yeah.
40 days away from me, but yeah.
Yeah, I took the advantage in the raid, obviously getting those times twos, the 10 of them sort of stuff, and I utilized all of those.
Yeah, but that's not even a valid argument for it, Mark, because
No, it's not a valid argument.
Now we're building two PvE holes for raid, and I mean, I don't know.
Yeah,
I have numbers. I actually came prepared with numbers today, so
yeah.
Yay.
Well, that's
Having
good.
having that second shipyard is not going to help me at all.
No, I'm not sure how many people it is going to help, to be honest. But especially if you're not a PvP person, sort of stuff,
Well,
So,
the only thing it's going to help is basically, if you use it properly, you'll be building your conquerors in the conqueror hole only, or conqueror yard as a hull with one weapon, because that way you'll maximize your use of your titanium. You start building out full boats in the conqueror, you're going to use a lot more titanium.
yeah, very much so. Yeah.
well, the only thing that's going to that's going to help you is opening up that aspect of the game to you, because our regular shipyard's going to be just tied up with PV stuff solid.
Sure.
It hasn't gotten better; it's gotten worse.
Right.
I mean, they seem to think that because they gave us that second shipyard, now that we're going to not need as many tokens, which is crap.
Yeah, it was a good time, I think, to pull up some of Ru's prepared some slides, which I've got here. So let's let her go through them and that sort of stuff, and we can discuss either it's up her decision as we go through, or we can do it as at the end. I'm not really sure what's the best way of doing this, but I'll pull them up. We'll have a little look, and we'll see where it goes. So,
Yeah, actually, I think if we just run through them real quick, and then that way that gets all of the misconception out of the way, and then I'll just step back and open the floor.
Okay, right. So mic's down for a second, guys, if you wanted, and we'll let Root charge on. So here we go. Okay.
So obviously this week we all saw the message that there was going to be a change to the FM in both structure and targets. What you're seeing right now is a look at the new redemption screen, and there's a lot of differences from what we're currently seeing now. Some of them are good and some of them are not so good. If you want to move on to Mark. Okay, so they've changed the redemption process itself. So you're not forced to take specific prizes in a specific order. One of the biggest complaints that people had was that, if you think about it today, if there's 20 items in tier 5, all of the new stuff is at the end. So you're kind of forced to take older stuff first before you get to the stuff that you kind of need now, type thing. So that's no longer an issue. You can claim more than one prize from each prize pool, and then you can go in and claim tokens. So big departure from the way it currently is now. You have to clear all of the prizes now before you can even begin to get tokens. Now you can go ahead, and if you're caught up, you're immediately at tokens. If you're not caught up, you have to take at least one prize from each pool, and then you can go ahead and purchase the tokens. There is no limit on the prize redemption. You can claim as many prizes that you have points for. If you are feeling frisky and you want to go ahead and catch up, and you've been off for a couple of weeks or you're kind of behind, you can go ahead and clear a prize pool within a single week. You can then go ahead, if necessary, and take time off and not actually be behind. You may lose build tokens, but you can go ahead and claim the things that you missed last week next week. So it does kind of give you a little bit more time with respects to not being stuck into the way stuff is. And then there are different price points for prizes within a pool. So you won't see, for example, that everything in tier 5 is all 5 million points. There may be something in there that is actually worth less, and there may be things in there that are worth more. Okay, moving on to the next one. Okay, it's a single time slot. It's a single run. You no longer now have to get both runs done within the 3-day window. When it starts, it goes all the way through until it's finished. There is no reset, and you're not stuck to a specific timer. An unfortunate part of this is they have removed the uranium. So there's 120,000 uranium that you're not going to get anymore weekly that you used to get just for completing the targets. They've also rebalanced the targets. They're going to be removing the 113 and the 88, and they're replacing that with a 115 and an 89. They're also changing the target points payout. And on the right-hand side there, you'll see that the new target points. And so in addition to adding the 2 new targets, basically they've reduced the target points that are awarded for all of the other ones. So the 103, 82, 68, 61, and 47, the targets themselves are not changing. It's the amount of points that you're getting. And the reason behind that is that the way it is currently, you get, 110 million for completing a 113. Now you're going to get much less points, but the prices themselves are a lot less. There's no 100 million points in there yet. Okay, we move on to the next one. They have also added in hull-specific tokens. I believe in the example that Rampage has put out on there, which is subject to change, there are Icebreaker and Monolith tokens, which will help folks that are still not 100% on their fleets. They will be able to go ahead and claim those, in addition to the regular tokens that they can claim. So these are at the higher level, so it does give the people the opportunity to go ahead and get their fleets better, or if they need to do refits. But there's also a reduction in general tokens. Renato did the math the other night and figured everything out. And basically, you are looking at, if we base this on a month, no second run, only a single run, with what Kix has put out there so far, you're going to get 3 less days worth of structure tokens. And I think it works out to be 13 hours less a week of research tokens. And then depending on if you're like Mark and you get all the 3-day tokens, it could be 10 less build day tokens, or if you're like me that never gets them, it could be less than 4 less days. So based now on the way that it works, we only get the targets, we only get the tokens at the end of the month when we've cleared all the prizes. Now we will be able to get tokens throughout the month, which also gives us some tokens to help with VXP, but overall, it looks like we're going to be getting less tokens. And then there's an increased target count required to actually finish the FM. So if we can move to the next one. Okay, and so Ren did some math on this and gave an example on his thread on the TFC. Basically, you're looking at an hour research token for 500 points, the 12-hour for 5,000, the structure for 60. If we've got a new prize in tier 4, 250,000, you claim that, then you can unlock your token. You can get a 2-day token for 350. If you're hitting tier 5, new prize might be 1.2 million. Now that may be more or it may be less depending on the prize. And then you unlock the 3-day token. So based on the old format, generally it would take you about 7 113 targets, and then you were done with your weekly. For those of you that were chewing through them with icebreakers, it was usually done very quickly. Takes a little bit longer for those of us that do monos or Empyreans. It didn't take all that long. Based on the new format, now bear in mind that we don't know what the targets are yet, it looks like we're going to take 11 targets just to get all of the stuff above, and that doesn't include any of the hull specific tokens, but it's going to take 11 of the 115 targets or 42 of the 103 targets in order to complete the weekly. The 2 major concerns that I have before I pass it over is that I don't want to see a massive increase in time. If the targets are being rebalanced to, for example, maybe say prevent prepping because now people can clear multiple prizes, maybe they're doing it as a 1-hit target, maybe the targets are smaller and won't take as long. We might take a little bit more damage, but it may not take as long to complete that target. I don't know. But the big thing that players have talked about And two things that are kind of annoying people right now is one, obviously, the token change that is in place where we lose tokens. And secondly, we're all tired of having to do chores, and more things have been removed from the game that we used to be able to do on auto, 91 mega holes, for example, and some of the other targets. Now it feels like a job again. I've got a raid, I've got the weekly long raid that I got to do all these targets, then I got TLCs, bounty, and stuff like that. So I'm hopeful that in the rebalancing of the target, they're thinking of these things. If they're not, they need to. And so that's just a high level of some of the things that are in there. Again, there is some good. Is an opportunity for players to catch up, which is one of the things, that gets you to the tokens quicker. Unfortunately, it looks like the flip side of that is that we're all going to take a hit on that. And so I'm going to...
Yeah, I don't know that's actually an opportunity for people to catch up, because the 88 was, the gateway into it. And if they're changing that, depending on what the target looks like, there might not be any catching up. I don't know. Yeah, for the numbers, I think when Ren looked back, he only looked back for the last month or the month before. I went back way back to look at what the general practice was, and the general practice used to be that if you had been caught up, you got a 2-day token once the first week, and then a full boat of all the tokens on the second run for the second week, and then the third week it was all tokens, right? That came out to 29 to 39 days. Now we have 20. So it's really a loss of 9 to 19 days, depending on how lucky you were on your 3-day tokens. It's a little bit bigger because they've been kind of slowly weaning us off of the tokens that were in the FM by adding stuff into the FM. But if you go back far enough, you can actually see the regular pattern that we used to have. So that's even, it's worse than what Ren had thought, because Ren only went back a little bit, and then the changes in the two main targets that people hit for the FM, and adding in more engagement time. I don't know. And then not having the points fixed. I understand that you can lower some prices for the prizes, but that also means that they can, inflate the points whenever they want. There's no fixed set of point value for each tier.
Exactly.
Yeah, but I think I would rather see something that is from 6 months ago that's not very relevant in the game cost less than something that's released 2 weeks ago.
If they had a general historical practice that is actually what they did, then I wouldn't have a problem. But we all know, and looking at the raids too, we know that that's not what happens. That's the only issue that I have, is it opens it up for abuse on the other end with nothing.
Yeah, no, it's okay, mate. It's just a couple of things. So just for those people, I know some people download this just audio only and do it as a podcast type thing. So this kicks in then next Wednesday. Okay, so after Tuesday's update, which should be a normal update because it's just a standard week. But a couple of things. So this is going to kick in as of next Wednesday. So when targets change, and I mentioned to the group before we went live, what generally happens is the old target, although you've got a brand new set of targets coming on, then normally what happens is the previous target format comes up until it's dead. And then it sort of goes away and the new target format comes up instead. That happened last time on the FM as well. So don't be surprised if you do see the old 113 pop up. They may not do it, but I'm just saying just be cautious. Okay, if it does pop up, it'll be exactly the same as it used to be, but then it'll go away and be replaced by a new one. Okay, if it does come up. It wasn't
I hope
supposed
they
to.
reduce the points on it so somebody doesn't all of a sudden gain 110 million points.
Yeah, I don't know, to be honest, but that's if it comes up, all right? It has happened before and that sort of stuff, and then people start going, well, where's all the targets gone? Now the classic thing is get this around your alliances. If those people that, look, we've got nearly 14,000 people now on the page in a year and a half, and yet still there's plenty of people post things up going, where are all the targets and all that sort of stuff? So just bear that in mind as well, and pass it as much around as any pages that are on Facebook, alliance pages or anything that you're on. It's better that you say it twice than not at all. But because this is literally, this is coming and it's not going to go away now. So we might need to make sure.
All right.
The only thing that's frustrated me the mostly, George, just 2 seconds, mate, is the fact that nobody has had the option yet to preview these targets, us included. Okay. So I have no balance for this. Whilst we know what's coming points wise, we know the format, the numbers, and that sort of stuff. We have no way of balancing what it's going to look like, and as Rue hinted there, in time or difficulty. And if you can't do this, I'm really worried that the new target, you won't be able to do it with maybe generalists. That'll be a real pisser. If it's just a simpler target that's worth more points and it's really not much of a change, then why don't you just up the points on 113? So they built a new target for some reason. I'm really intrigued. And if it hasn't got escalation in it, I'll be stunned. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, like I said, I can see reasons for doing it with, not wanting someone to go out and prep so that somebody clears up the pool and maybe it's a one-hit target or something like that. I can see that. I can see, maybe a little bit of an increase in damage because, the icebreakers and the fleets that we have, maybe do it so well. I'm not saying that's what they're doing. I'm hopeful that it's got something to do with that, not just that they're going to release it and throw us off the deep end and make it impossible for a couple of weeks.
I can see mines on patrol routes in there.
I think
Mines, possibly.
I think they have to be careful too with exactly how they tune it. Escalation was just mentioned, and now between the tech up and some people still don't have T85D mortars. They don't have all of those things that were released later on to be better with the monolith hull. They might not even have the monolith hull. So if they tune the target too high in a sense, you're excluding a wide band of players that doesn't have the actual newest tech, which again was locked behind RNG. It was random what you got from that tech up. And if they push it too hard, then they're going to be pushing a lot of players away. And I feel like they're might even be doing that with the 88, because that's the other thing that people hit to get in. I think my point of interest was you could hit like I think it was for tier 4 even. You could hit 2 103s and you'd have enough points for a tier 4. And now you need 4 or 5.
The thing that I liked for the lowers was the fact that, if you were a big player and that sort of stuff, you could quite easily go around, right, who wants a T4 prep for themselves? You go around and wipe the outside out of a 113 sort of stuff, and then just leave them the last little single cluster, and then get over the 50k and that get them there. For those that are coming up and coming, it was a nice way to get them straight up to get some.
Well, they just a couple of months ago.
Go on, mate.
I think we lost him.
Oh, your mic's gone down, mate. Sorry.
No, I think it's a connection. I do want to make one comment about the transition. Right, the plan was originally, I guess the plan is still that it's going to be an absolute conversion. So we're not going to have anything on the map. Like there's not going to be any 113s or 88s. There was a huge push, and I've asked repeatedly this past week to add in a transition week or two. Whether they do it or not, I don't know, but I really hope to see that, because I think that would help the community a whole lot.
Yeah, even if the 115, even if they leave the points as it is now, delay it for a week, delay the launch for a week, leave everything that it is now, and just put the 115s on the map like they did with the original 112s, and toss a token in there, even if it's 0 points. At least allow people to take a look, to be able to think about it, plan about it, as opposed to being thrown off the deep end.
That's what they did for the 100, isn't it? The 100 was in there to start with.
I think the easiest thing for them might be, because of the points change, I think the easiest thing would be to put it in, but add the 113 and the 88 back at the whatever the 89 and 115 points.
Yeah, or the matching points, yeah.
Yeah, to just match them. And that way you have a choice. You can do your FM, and then you can, you got a couple of days, you can sit back and try the 115s and 89s and see what's going on.
Brian brought up some really good points with respects to fleets, and one of the things that concerns me, I mean, yes, I run a Zealous tank, but yes, I have the gridiron belt, and if I have to drag that thing out of mothballs, maybe that's the case. But
I hope not.
No.
I want to scrap it. But anyway, There are a lot of people that are using the Empyreans. I mean, there's a lot of mid-level players that don't have monos built or don't have the mono hull, but they're, they've taken the Empyrean route, and right now they're able to do that with their Empyrean or with their Zealous tanks or even with their Quake cannon Zealouses and things like that. And so I'm hopeful that whatever jiggling they're doing, they're taking all fleets into account and not just tuning this directly to either A, the icebreaker, B, the mono, or a combination thereof.
You now implanted the idea of a Quaker Zealous skin in my head, which is just the copyright-friendly version of the Quaker Oats man.
I think he's a little worse than
I'd buy that skin for Buck.
Yeah.
Peter, you go.
Sorry, I was just saying about Brian's skin idea. I'd buy that for $1.
I was just thinking, look, Liam was a classic example, and there are plenty of high-level players out there. The frustration of the Apollo type speed-up concept on a mortar fleet is not really well received at all, and the fact that the fact that obviously the Merving missiles were firing at us, you don't want fleets that take ages to move. So a lot of people turn around and just went, sack that, I'm going to go Imperiums, and it's not whether there's a better hull. It's not. It's the fact that there's no lag. It basically just moves the second you press move, and that's it. So I have plenty of people in my alliance that have put D95s on their Imperium fleet and use a Zealous tank, and that's their fleet of choice. It's not the most powerful fleet, but at least it bloody moves when you want it to move. The way the Apollos moved, it was a little bit more forgiving in that in that FM target type, but in this one it's not.
They're busy building their raid fleet, so they don't have time to go ahead now and start a mono fleet.
Can you imagine if you killed off someone's FM fleet just by this change? Or you reduce them down to a target level that's well below what they actually were completing before.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I bet the first fleet going in is going to die, because I reckon it's going to be similar to the last TLC, last target. Remember that?
That was great fun, yeah.
Oh, that was lovely.
Great fun.
That was lovely. But I reckon it's going to be similar to that one. Sadly.
So,
similar.
If I may jump in, why would or should they take away the ability for higher level FM players to prep lower level players for FM, especially with this raid cycle? It seems like, and a lot of that tech is good, but a lot of that tech is also just obsolete. I mean, to some extent by the game's own admission, when they took the holes from tiers 1 through 3 out of the foundry, it basically meant they were like, yeah, these things are irrelevant now. They're trash, never build them, never use them, etc. And they still have prizes in tier 4, like the Blade Missile. No. That's like the 3rd or 4th best missile now. Probably 4th, maybe 5th. And so I don't know why you would disallow people from either getting help to grind to get higher tiers that will actually be useful for them going forward, or even grinding to get the lower tech they need to be able to continue the stepping stone. If they make the 89 so much harder, and I think they're going to make it harder, that these players can't get a leg up on their own anymore where they used to be able to. I don't know why you'd block them from being able to do it themselves and then other people from being able to help them. You're not going to get the microtransaction of repair or blitz. They're just going to quit because they're upset.
Yeah, I mean, the FM was there originally. The basic premise was a catch-up mechanic. And this change, or it looks like this change, is completely ignoring that now.
In a sense, it's towards it, because you can redeem as many prizes as you want per tier. Like, I think that is one of the best ways to give them a catch-up. You'd offer them a grind. I think the problem would be in the actual points per target versus time you actually have to spend versus the reward that you get.
Well, then you don't change the 88 to the 89. You just lower the points in the 88.
And then they have to do, what, 2-3 times as many 80? Well, if they're doing them quickly enough, I guess that's okay. Admittedly.
No, I disagree. I think it's a huge, huge positive for them to be able to claim as many points. And it's something that's been brought up many times that, oh my God, I'm not going to reach it until, 9 months from now.
If they can.
Changing. Yeah, if they can. But, changing the targets I'm not happy about. But the ability for people to be able to just claim all of those points and clear out and get, if they're 6 weeks behind, instantly get tokens, I think is a good positive thing. Is it worth the cost of all the other changes?
The catch is are you giving in one hand and totally denying it in the other? That's like going, hey, I'm going to give you guys $10 million if you can hop on 1 foot, but you got to do it on the moon. Well, who's got the damn rocket ship to get to the moon?
I don't know until we see the targets. We're not going to be able to say anything.
And that's what I'm saying, if they can.
We're in a catch-22 situation, okay? And this is the grass is greener, but it's not necessarily greener because we can't see the other side of the fence. And we just don't know, because whilst it could be a really good thing, and I agree with Robin, if they're going to get the option to go, do you know what, for the next 2 weeks, I'm going to slog my guts out, but at least I'll be up to token level. I've fully caught up on my my FM and that sort of stuff, and I'll be in a really good position where actually before this switch, I was weeks behind. It was going to take me, especially people coming back into the game, it was going to take me weeks and weeks and weeks to catch back up, sometimes months, in fact. So for those individuals, I can see it in some respects, but it's just the known unknowns is great, but unknown unknowns are terrible things, and that's exactly where we are. The unknown unknown is we don't know how many targets or how much cost it's going to cost to do this new target type. If it doesn't really cost a great deal more, it's like, I don't know, 5 or 10% more damage for the number of points. But it's not about the number of points, because the number of points you acquire versus the number of points you're going to gain for the amount of damage that you take, that's the ratio, which also is an unknown unknown.
That's why it's obsolete to talk about it now, because we haven't seen the bloody targets.
Well, tonight's detail was mostly, and I did talk to Robin about this tonight before we went on, and we did discuss this, and we actually said it's better to do a light discussion about it now, and then to go with the one this time next week, and actually when we actually see the live update come out on Tuesday as well. So it is worth spending a little time talking about this, and we're going to have to for the next couple of weeks. Well, we can't bitch about a target we're not hitting.
Let me ask the panel this, right? Let me ask the panel this: does anybody think that the 115 is going to take a shorter amount of time to do than the 113?
No.
Not
anybody.
Not. So I reckon when we get it through, it's going to be shorter. I reckon.
I don't know whether it's going to be shorter or longer, but I do think there'll be a slight increase in damage. And is that going to stop you going? I mean, I can, let's be honest, I can go through both cycles now with a 30-minute fix.
Yeah, and you only have to have 7 targets total to do the full thing. Now,
3.5, yeah.
Now it's going to be at least twice as much, and who knows at how much time.
But twice?
And who knows how many points you're going to need if they decide to up the points.
Yeah, that's future. I mean, the way that they have the point list right now, you need at least, what was it? Brian, you had it, right? What is it? Twice the targets?
11 versus
the slides, yeah.
7.
All right.
The thing is, with this new style, you lose the points you earn from hitting the targets. The other way, it's
cumulative.
Yeah, like you don't have to start over again after hitting every single tier every single time. You just go through. And I think one of the best old style was that you hit 7 things and then you were done and it didn't take, and that was it for the week. And even 11, that's still, 1.5x. I don't want my FM to take 1.5 times as long, and I don't want to find 11 of the highest target because it's a coin flip for what target you get. So it just seems much more bothersome.
Okay, so
we need that time.
Actually, what I want to do really, to be honest, is just mention the fact that, look, there are some unknowns, okay, and there are some knowns. And this is not the place. This is just to get the detail out this week. That's all I wanted to do, is get the detail out to say that we've got a bit of trepidation. Yeah, there's a little bit out there and that sort of stuff. But at the moment, am I damning Kickstarter? No, I'm not. Okay, I can't damn somebody for something I've not seen. Okay, is the community happy about changes in the game? No, they never are. Okay, so that's a given. That's an easy one to deal with. Okay, we'll know by Wednesday, and we'll complain about it by, well, you complain about it by Wednesday plus 1 minute. I know you will, but as we all will. But by this time next week, we'll have another grown-up discussion about it and that sort of stuff. And we'll bring out the full detail, if it has changed, if the numbers have changed and that sort of stuff, on Tuesday's show sort of stuff, because there's just too much that we don't know about at the moment. But it is worth bringing up already, I think. It's causing angst for people already, and I've seen lots of, let's boycott, let's ban, this is the final straw. And it does feel like there's now going to be a weekly raid as well as 2 raids. But I don't know. Until I've seen the target, I can't tell. One thing I have noticed, though, and that's this year, all target formats are taking longer. And I think that's a given decision by Kickside to draw the game out to stop people getting too many points as well. That's my feeling. But I think, no matter what format it is, all the targets are taking longer.
I think they're just trying to do some engagement metrics that aren't actually contextualized. They probably have some, like, for each minute that people spend at their seats playing the game, we get this many dollars. And they're trying to increase that, thinking that it's truly a linear relationship. And that's just not the case. There's a range where that is the case, to be sure. But after that, you just have people logging off and quitting or not wanting to spend the money. I think it'll fall off as the total time increases, but I have no data to back that up. So,
who thinks 15 will be blitzable?
Yeah, so that's the hint, isn't it? Which is encourage people to then to go another set of twin fleets, i.e., go and get the blitz hulls as well as you.
No, I mean the gold blitz.
Oh yeah, I don't know, mate. I don't know. I mean, they haven't spoken about that, have they? To be honest.
I don't see why they wouldn't, honestly, because the template's already in the game. They probably just need to pick a maximum gold number. I think they would do it.
It probably would, mate. To be honest,
I mean, it's not bad.
No,
it's not a bad
I don't
thing.
think it is.
They just do it.
I know. I agree with you. I don't think it is bad. I'm just, like I said, I'm holding judgment at the moment. I'm a pretty.
Let's see.
Level-headed person. Yeah.
But does anybody have any? I mean, I assume that the ballistic resistance on the targets is going to go up. Does anybody have any thoughts on what the people with the ballistic zealous ought to be doing? Because that's not really what they intended for this target. And I'm guessing, like we've all sort of been speculating, that that's going to be one of the sacrificial lambs of this.
Well, look exactly what they did to the S targets in the last raid format, mate, to stop them working. They just put one poxy little building in there that you couldn't get to, and that was it. Good night. Generous. They were out of there.
Yeah, but everybody's using the Zealous as a tank. I mean, if they do that, that ruins everybody's FM fleet, period.
Yeah, I'm talking about the ballistic ones that people are using for the FM.
Yeah, when they're using just 1 or 2 Zealous. I mean, they might.
Same concept, though. Generous is generous. All they're going to do is put one building in there that means, it wipes you out of it,
I think it's simpler if they just up the ballistic resistances on the targets. Then you've gotten rid of one use of it, but not the other, because you're supposed to be their strengths or their weaknesses are supposed to be explosive, right? So it'd be well within what they put together as the framework for this if they up the ballistic resistances of the towers and the targets.
Yeah, if they marketed the Empyreans to be able to do these at some sort of level, and then they put in a generalist nerfing building, like that's words I can't say on this show. that shows they have utterly failed massively in some form of design, tuning, whatever. Like they just actually are just incompetent.
Okay, I don't think we'll go down any more rabbit holes. I think that's probably enough, to be honest, because like you say, it's unknown unknowns. But look, at least we've got a flavour of concerns from people, and I don't mind having concerns, and I think it's quite right to have some concerns. But until we've proved the pudding's in the eating, and we haven't done that yet, so yeah, but we're going off trends, aren't we? That's the only thing. And trends in the last few months have not favoured the player by any sort of stretch of the imagination. We'll see.
One trend that they have continued to do, though, is lack of proper communication.
Comms, yeah. Yeah, and even when they do put out some comms, you have to go and re-explain some of it because the methodology of it, like look at some of the blueprints when actually some of the typefaces come out incorrect and that sort of stuff. So quality assurance hasn't been there. So it's actually released into the live game, and then we've got to go around and read it again and go, "Well, you're absolutely sure that's what you meant?" and that sort of stuff. It's not our job to fix your game. It's certainly not our job to pick up your faults. You should have your own department for that sort of stuff. So the last thing I want to say it is huge, and actually it makes a mockery of the system. But the last thing I do want to say is, be concerned about, as ever, I'm sure 20 people, 20, 30, 40, 50, maybe 100 people will end up putting a ticket in going, since the update of the FM, I've lost this in my base and that sort of stuff. Should we have to go around and photograph our whole base? I don't know. I personally run a little video clip now and just go around clicking things, and then I just save the video and that sort of stuff because it saves logging lots of pictures. But just bear in mind of what you've got, and just keep an eye on it, and particularly what's building as well. What's building in your different yards and that sort of stuff. And I know a couple of people I know they've got like 7 things upgrading at the moment, or building. So just be concerned. So the sky's not falling yet. Okay, then. I've not even seen any cracks yet. However, I have seen.
I was just going to say the video clip is actually a really good idea for people, because I know it used to be where we'd go in and just take screenshots, and Rue actually had me do it the other night on my base too. And you start a video, especially if they're going to have like a really big maintenance thing, which is what we did the other night. And you just start a little video, click through all your stuff, see everything that you got, and that way you have a reference point. And make sure it's in small screen so they can see the date and time too, and they can't say anything about when it was and all that crap.
Yep. I just, as a habit, do it after the raid weekend, the prizes. I do it then because
what I've collected, I do that as well. I've just got the habit. A little video clip is so much easier. So and there are plenty of little video programs out that you can get for free. So you can and YouTube some stuff and see what people are using at the moment. So last thing I want to do quickly before we just take the hour and that sort of stuff. I'm not exactly in a rush, but I just wanted to just show everybody that clearly we're on to almost the last couple of days of our raid review, if you wouldn't mind, because we're going to update this live on next week's show. So there's the TFC website. Like I said, go onto Google and just put in Forsaken Council and it'll come up. But if not, it's www.theforsakencouncil.co.uk. And then basically go onto this one here, this button here, the questionnaire. And you'll see on there, like I said, it's just those few questions. It's really, really straightforward. It tells you then that we're going to close it on the 23rd. It will give Andrew 24 hours to turn it around into some bar charts for us and that sort of stuff. But yeah, it's just tick the boxes. Really, really simple and that sort of stuff. And like I said, get to the bottom and then just press send. That's it. It's all anonymous, and it's enough then to get us the detail that we need to get them the stats. So anyway, just thought I'd quickly push that up, if you wouldn't mind. For those that haven't done it or pass it out to alliances, please do your best. We can't help you if you don't help us. Cool. Right. Has anybody got anything else apart from those two items?
I wanted to bring up the sprint countermeasure because a lot of people keep on comparing it to the old Trident, which is good contextually in some sense, but
it's different altogether, isn't it?
I think if people start looking at it really closely and start playing with some of the numbers, a better comparison might be the Phalanx 4, especially if you're trying to refit some of your Zealous and your CM ships. So
I'm not sure it's wise to do so yet, to be honest.
Well, I haven't sat down and done the actual hard numbers, but some of the preliminary stuff that I was doing looked really interesting, like very interesting. So I don't know if I'm gonna get around to doing like an article or sharing it somewhere, but it was a cool little thing that I played with, and I was like, that's.
Yeah, we need a geek corner for 5 minutes because I looked at some numbers as well, and it wasn't as blatant as I thought it was. I thought it was just gonna be a case of, like you say, an upgrade to the actual Trident, but it's not.
Yeah, because I mean, a lot of people were saying that the weight, it was so high and this and that, but then I was like, okay, why is the weight that much? And I'm looking at the reload time, and it's got the salvos, and I'm like, huh. And then when I started playing, it's like kind of in between the both of them, but it offers you a greater depth to some stuff. I think it's going to end up being a pretty good blueprint that people have kind of overlooked so far. So I just wanted to take a moment and have people just take a peek at that.
We're going to refit that because of the new FM.
Well, I don't know, mate, but well,
Maybe.
I hope not.
maybe
They don't have
not.
it the first week.
It's not always the default like Phalanx 4. It's not necessarily. Clearly, it's the gold standard, but sometimes gold standard is not what you require.
No.
You know, so and I think it could be the
But
same.
you
again.
know what I mean.
Yeah, no, I
Sometimes you're
do get you, mate. But in
expensive.
some scenarios, you know, it's not the, you know, on some holes, it's not necessarily the best thing. Sometimes always to go with the
like
top tech.
Phalanx
I mean,
3 versus.
Alice.
But same as well with Gales. I mean, I don't fit Gale 3 to anything. To be
Oh
honest.
no, it's too heavy.
And
one more
just the
sub,
trade-off's not right. It's all about trade-off, isn't it? You know, weight versus return. So
I just got a
Gale 2 best Gale.
really quick request. How come we can't repair flagships in the same slot?
You mean put them in a different slot?
If we got 4 flagships damaged.
Oh, I see what you mean. No, well, they can only go into slot 1, can't they?
I bloody hate it. I bloody hate it because I know it's so easy to fix. You know, we can't employ them to the map, but repair. Hey.
And then you repair your flagship with like 4 different flavors of other ships because you want to clear things up, and then you forget about it, and then you go hit something with it, and you're like, why the hell do I have this in there?
Yeah, I suppose they could put a ticker in it to say, like, you know, if you've got more than one flagship in the fleet, i.e., there's got to be a flagship in slot 1, but if you've got more than one flagship in the fleet, you can't launch.
Yeah,
but it's sort of like the sub thing, because you can repair 5 subs even if one's not a Phantom. That you can put a non-Phantom in the flagship position. You just can't launch it, but you can repair them that way.
I agree. It is frustrating because especially when it comes to, you know, we're doing defender holes and that sort of stuff, and we've got quite a few flags in that genre, haven't we? So
that's what I'm talking. We have so many flags, you know. And
well, I did have
2 or 3 damage. You know, I want to repair them a lot, but you can't at the same time. Because the other one is quick repair, you know.
No, I agree. It is slightly frustrating. Well, it's more than slightly frustrating, but it's just another thing they'd have to add into the game and maybe muck things up a bit more. I don't know.
That's a huge request.
Like a special defender slot, there's a special flagship slot. Go on all the flagships, but you can never launch it.
And like it's been said in the chat, the thing that would be nice is to be able to have a slot like your defense slot, you know, like your guard slot, where you could just put 4 or 5 ships in there and just click and let them fix overnight by themselves, sort of stuff, you know, or just don't have to go. You know, it's like when you log on at night time and you've got a long one going and that sort of stuff, where you go, well, I want to be able to put that, and that, like 10 in a row, and just go, well, when I come back from work tomorrow night, they're all going to be fixed. That'd be really nice, wouldn't it?
That's
all
not
about
happening.
sorting issue too. You know, if you see the below,
or just fix my dock and just keep going. Whatever comes next, just fix it. I don't know.
True.
Yeah.
But the sorting thing, when you see all your ships below, you know, the sorting thing is just mix up. You know, it's like when you see your special lab or whatever, or your weapons. It's all it's confusing. I hate it.
Bottom right, you mean?
I mean, there's no reason why it's. I mean, people are. If my fleet takes 5 hours and I'm out for 8 hours, I mean, I'm not going to coin those 3 hours. I'm just going to start the next one when I log on. And so, I don't see.
You have 2 flagship who's dead, okay? But you only can repair one of them.
No, I know. I'm saying the Q fleet. So, you know, you can click. You know, repair this one first, then this one, then this one. And so if each fleet is only a couple of hours long, finish the one and it automatically starts the next one. That would be really good.
It would, because at night time, particularly when you're doing raiding, you're like, well, which fleet am I going to fix? I've only got like 4 hours left on both of them to fix, and and I'm going to kip now. So which one do I want to start off with? Maybe tomorrow, you know, or do I just waste those hours and that sort of stuff? But I also get what Tripod's saying there. I'll just show you quickly if I can show you. Hang on a minute. Where's my other? I was going to show you quickly my other alt, which I can't show you for some reason. Don't know why. Why is it not coming up? And that's the same thing. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 things researching at the moment with all different timelines on them. And I've got one thing building, and I've got one thing equipping. And I have no idea what they are. because even if you click on it, it just says speed up. Some of them say, you know, like the transformer says transform next to it, but the other one says researching, and the next one says researching, and the next one says researching as well. It doesn't actually tell you what they are.
No, you have to click it, and then it jumps to it.
But even if you have to click on it, it just says researching, and then it just goes to a random area of the base. It doesn't even tell me what it is.
Oh, it doesn't go to the.
Doesn't go to the building.
Well,
It goes near it, but if you've got a turret upgrading next to your advanced lab, which is also upgrading, just shows you the area.
Just go inside your lab and you can speed up whatever you're researching in there.
Yeah, but I've got like 15 things researching. Well, not 15, but I've got 8 things researching at the same time. You're not really sure what's going on in what building, but there we go.
Yeah, but if you're like, let's say, researching the new gate in your advanced lab and you want to do that, then you just go there and use your tokens. You're not going to go to your naval lab and do the specialist instead.
No. I just have to work out why I can't show you the screen. I don't quite get why.
click the green arrow on your left-hand side of the screen, and then you can share the screen. Yeah.
You kill me sometimes. I don't know. Can you see that? I don't know. It's not. It's my second screen. It's not coming up.
It's coming up. Yep.
Yeah. Well, there you can see in the bottom right-hand corner. Look, there's a whole stack of things there on research. So like that one there, like I said, it just says researching. I mean, some of them say what they are. Some they don't all say it.
Try to click one.
Well, those are there. So, but that one there says researching. When I click on it, like, it doesn't actually take you to anything.
Double click. No.
It just takes you there.
Okay, go zoom in. Zoom in first, and then double click.
It's one of these.
I guess that's your naval specialist.
It's one of them, isn't it?
Yeah, okay, of course. Yeah.
Don't know. Look at those walls. Look at cheap nasty those walls are.
Beautiful.
Anyway, not to worry. Right. Anybody got anything else they want to talk about quickly? Or not quickly in general?
Make subs not 100% repair to launch anymore.
Oh, please.
Again, you know, the reasons why this was done in the first place no longer exist. There's no surfacing. There's no cav morts. They see us from far away. Our stealth is irrelevant. We get shot by giant mortars anyway. So, yeah, there's no reason anymore.
Well, the reason was because of its role in the PvP game.
Oh, they don't care about PvP. They made the Gluttony. And they also made the Fangtooth, which has a longer torpedo range than any thermal ship except for maybe one. So, yeah, they don't care about PvP, FVF for subs. They'd have actually made the Hunters able to stop them if they did, but even then they just bounce off because they're both concussive, which they both resist each other very well. So there's no point.
Yes, it is interesting. Another thing that's
funny.
Well, I don't know if funny is the right word. Another thing we've had to put up and shut up on.
Not ha-ha funny, but strange funny.
Yeah. Right, come on. I'm going to run on the bottom, see if he's got any points, and if not, we're going to call it a night. So, Brian, anything particular for you?
Nope.
Imri, apart from mega ships, they're still broken. I know.
Oh yeah, I took a bargain. I killed some megas the other day for 21 metal alloys, and I gained only about 1 day and 2 hours extra.
It's bonkers, isn't it? Yeah. But someone needs to get back onto that now. But
I mean, I could have killed some more and maybe filled up like all the way, but probably I would have ended up like 6 days remaining on the 3-day upgrade.
Personally, I mean, I'm not a huge mega player and that sort of stuff. And in fact, I've stopped playing with mine probably 6 months ago. Not done a damn thing on it because I didn't like the mechanics. I think it was all a bit busted. And if GDR does come back next year, I think it's the first thing you should look. One of the first things you should look into.
What happened
to get that working properly? But yeah, as in, like, if he comes back into specifically to BP and not to all the other stuff that's within Kicksite. Anyway, Hefe, anything for you, mate?
When are they going to explain how splash dispersion works?
Ooh.
When were they supposed to explain how stun resist worked?
Well, anything. All they do is just say, "There's a thing. Go and work it out yourselves."
Do you think that there's no one there who can actually explain it?
Well, I mean, it's obvious that that what we get displayed in our shipyard and docks is not accurate, or in our towers.
Agreed.
It's not accurate, and they either need to explain what's going on or make it accurate, so we have better info that we're actually getting from the game.
Do you not
Have
think
we sent
sometimes
a
they just
ticket in
like
and
us?
asked?
Do you not think that sometimes they just like the fact that we try to explain it ourselves and they just probably just laugh at us?
Yeah.
Or maybe they just don't know it themselves.
Because we took guesses at how the weapon, like the torpedo tubes work with the fangs, and then they came up with brand new math on us.
Yeah. That was a saver.
We tried to figure it out beforehand, and I'm like, oh no, it's not option A or B. We've come up with option FU.
That's a face-saving exercise. You know it.
Yeah, it's like when we're trying to do your job, like you need to do your job.
Before I forget that one, the 100 VXP target, the top glut still got a blind spot still.
Yeah, it's frustrating as anything.
Bloody idiots.
It's even worse, actually, to be honest.
Yeah,
it's even worse at the moment.
Bloody hell, drive forwards and backwards.
Well, the yellow P is actually corrosive and not explosive, correct? It's the green one.
The yellow one.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, the yellow cloud.
The P.
Yeah,
the P on the water.
The morning after P.
Yeah, the highly acidic is corrosive. Yes.
Yeah, so don't drive your fleets over that. It's not like driving over them in the raid.
Isn't it?
I did it once to suicide a ship, but yeah, that'll eat you up.
Yeah, it does its job. It eats your armor pretty quick up. I must have charge. Jeff, is your mic working again now, mate? Is it working?
I think so.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Anything you want to close with, mate?
No.
Okay, that's worthwhile then. Hey, Mike's in. Sorry, mate. How you doing, buddy?
No, just popped in. Saw an open spot.
Okay, mate. Yeah, no, George has disappeared. How are you, buddy? You all right?
Yeah, I'm doing good, actually.
Good, mate.
Everything's all caught up and just waiting for the things that we don't know
I know, trepidation. Hey, it's a bit like Santa Claus, isn't it? Hey? Flipping heck. Anything else that you want to bring up before we shut down?
No, not myself.
Cool. Come on, Peter, you've already got something.
I predict that with the FM target changes, Brian is going to bring out the bag of salt.
It's on his desk permanently these days, I think.
It really is. It's literally just for prop comedy.
I'm surprised he hasn't just got it taped to his forehead these days.
Hey, you need a straw.
No, that's if they make it actually like that one target that everyone did that apparently is awful.
Yeah. Rum, what about you, mate?
No more base hitting. What's happened to base hitting? It's a lost art.
Okay, hit today.
One weekend a month. It's called the bounty.
I've been hit 3 or 4 times this week.
Get lost.
Lucky for you.
It's because you're a celebrity.
No, it's because
right.
You can always just talk smack, and then you'll get a base test.
Yeah,
I know. I went out and hit 10 or 15 bases this week, and I got peeked by a friend just because he was dropping by the sector, and that was it.
Maybe they know who you are, and they know it's futile. In which case, good job.
No, that's not it. It's far from it.
I had a good visit today. Well, I'm not going to tell you who it was.
If I were going to guess, I would say it's Ewok.
No. It was fine.
No?
Just look in chat.
Just read chat.
Read chat.
It was a good effort. Anyway. Yeah, okay. Tripod, anything to close, mate?
UBD,
Yeah. Get yourself a picture, mate. I want to see what it is going to be next week.
Bloody hell, you can see in the chat. I got a new picture on.
Have you?
Don't you see the tripod on the right-hand side?
Oh, it's in there, yeah. You have to get it on your profile picture as well. And we'll close off then quickly then. Robin, anything for you?
No, I don't have anything. I am cautiously optimistic, but going to wait and see what happens and try a few targets and see if it's something we can crack quickly.
Yeah, it's good. Okay, so I'll just close quickly with emancipators on nails against twin blades, all right? If you've got one, you don't need one. They work very well.
And the retrofit upgrades their range too.
Yes, very much so. Yeah,
Important.
hugely important. Even if you use 7 tiles in the middle, you can still cover all your channel all the way around it, plus a little bit more. So works well. Done it for them. Oh, sorry. Right. Anyway.
Did
It's,
Venom come to play?
Not for long.
That's funny.
Love you, bro. Right. Okay. Time to go. Thanks all for tuning in. Thanks all for coming on chat. Look forward to next Tuesday's update if it's on time. And if not, we'll delay for 24 hours if we have to. But I don't see why. Unless they really goof it up and it doesn't work, the new F update, they're going to delay. But seeing as we haven't even seen a target, I can't even talk about it at all. So we'll just all we'll all be mushrooms and just get on with it, shall we?
Yep.
Have a great weekend. And there was something else I was going to say, but I forgot what it was. Oh yeah, next weekend for us, clocks change. So take it the same for everybody else, is it?
It's like a week after that for us in the States.
All right. I might just be talking.
So it'll be
absolute
6
baloney.
o'clock on the East Coast for everybody, right? For a week.
Yeah, something like that. Yes, right. Yeah, we're normally a week different to you guys.
Yeah.
Facebook will tell you, and then use a time zone converter.
Yeah, I'll post the timing things up anyway. But we may have a different time, slightly different timing for us next week. But we'll try.
Ours changes November 5th.
All right.
So a week after yours do.
Okie dokie.
Yeah, day after my birthday.
Right.
Hey, happy day.
Your gift is jet lag. Have a nice birthday.
Yeah, exactly that. Right. Take care all. Thanks for tuning in. Good night.
Night, everybody.
All right.
Good night.